Oh my god.
Basically, I have a very morbid curiosity for manga series that are a little bit NSFW. A little bit NSFW.
I'm gonna send that nigga message and start to like, get out your teammate's ass. Just took a screenshot of this just now. Like, yeah, you killed me. It's still your teammate's ass though. Lol.
Isn't afraid to take some risks for the sake of true culture. But this time, the title of the video isn't just a nice case of clickbait. No, it actually has somewhat of a double meaning. A double entendre. The boy coming out here with the flaming bars and the hot draw. Because yes, today's manga that I will be talking about and the topics that will follow as a result of me talking about this manga are definitely...
This is the real ninja fight right here.
Not safe for work. They are not safe for life. And if you are below the age of 18, should be something that you won't even think about consuming anytime soon. But the meaning of the title in this video also applies to the sense that this manga takes the rather controversial and questionable topic of children and uses it in very, very scary ways. So much so that the Australian Senate is probably rolling in their fucking graves right now, regretting not banning this manga as opposed to something like Sword Art Online. I guess that actually happened, links in the description. Because if I'm not careful with the words that I choose in this video and how I manage to critique the points that I'm
gonna have to be. What the fuck?
Might get cancelled. So if you're watching this,
yeah, good shit, y'all. Good shit. Oh, Trap, who I know this nigga Trap. I know that nigga. I know that nigga Trap, nigga. Yeah, nigga, you whooping their ass. Yeah, you whooping their ass. Yeah, let's get it. Their ass. We got fighting these niggas over here? I got it.
Gives the proper definition of the term lolicon hell with the manga simply titled U12. The story is set in modern-day Japan where 12 young girls wake up in a mysterious locked room. Nobody remembers how they got there when suddenly they're greeted by a creepy old man telling them that their human rights have officially been revoked.
Oh shit, nigga summoned a toad on top of my head.
Where they're being kept captive is a high penitentiary prison.
It don't matter. It's not a team every year, nigga. Suck my dick.
Child predators, aka lolicons. Do you feel that cold chill just going down your spine? Well, hold on to that thought because this manga's about to get a lot worse. Because once the creepy old man leads these young girls to the center of the prison square, he announces the start of an event called Fun Time, in which certain fucked up, drugged out, crazed inmates are released from their shackles for a set amount of time to try and catch the girls and do all sorts of messed up things. And the girls have to choose between one or two things: either run away from them with their life, or I can't believe that they actually phrase it like this in the manga, or satisfy them. I wonder what that could mean. Now it's time for these girls to take action and survive with everything they've got. Will these girls be able to escape from this literal
fuck out of here, Trap Move.
Or will they end their short and sweet life in the most horrendous and gruesome way imaginable? So yes, if you haven't already put two and two together, the title of this manga series, U12, is the shortened form of Under 12, as in the ages of all of the main girls that you will be following throughout this horror, thriller, absolutely traumatic and messed up manga series are under 12. It might also signify the amount of seconds that an average reader will...
I'm uploading now fights to my YouTube channel, y'all. Just giving you a heads up.
Their eyes out, aka under 12. Now look, if you know me, these kinds of horror and thriller manga series that have rather controversial topics and theming surrounding them is definitely not new to me. As much as I am not proud to admit this, I have stepped into the absolutely fucked up world that is the Eroguro manga genre many times over my career. And all I'm saying is, if I can survive something like My Chun's Daily Life multiple times on this channel, then U12, nah bro, normie stuff. Weak sauce, son. Get good, kid. This is like a kid reading all of One Piece, and then you talk to him again the following week, and he's like, dude,
Face the same team again.
Is one of the most fucked up manga series I've ever read. Oh my gosh. Spoiler alert. It's not traumatic. It's just bad. What I'm trying to say is, there's always worse in the cesspool of manga. If you're willing to really dig down and find the nitty-gritty stuff at the bottom of the pool, then you will find some absolutely messed up stuff. But at the same time, this manga, still not very good. You got all your fun time, holy jolly, feel-good theming in this manga, like pedophilia, cannibalism, necrophilia, and more forms of RAPE than there are ice cream flavors of Baskin Robbins. 31 flavors, more like 30 wonder what Trauma awaits me on the next page. But unlike your classic Eragura manga, whose sole purpose is to shock the ever-living shit out of your plot, U12 actually has somewhat of a grasp of common sense in its storytelling and theming. You see, most Eragura series don't really have much of a story to enjoy. Sure, they have to create at least some bare-bones story since it is a piece of fiction that they're trying to get published. But more often than not, the focus is not on the story, but rather on the traumatic NSFL shit that you didn't think a single human brain could possibly come up with. But U12 actually throws in a story that is chock full of mystery and thriller. Its overarching plot points of, why are we here? Why did our parents lock us up here? What happened to the outside world to have caused all of this? How do we escape and survive? Are all relevant throughout the entire series, while also not forgetting to give us some badass action scenes that make you question the physical and emotional capabilities of an average 12-year-old girl. I was not aware that an average 12-year-old girl can do a backflip into a moon kick without any sort of run-up, but hey, I'm living for the hype. Like, it's either this author just really likes 12-year-old girls to the point that he has to make them the central focus of his action horror thriller manga, or he's never seen or met a real 12-year-old girl in his lifetime. Either way, I'm scared bad, but throughout all of this traumatic gore,
And I'm back. I came back late, but at least I came back now. We out.
that the author is trying to convey through the lines of this particular manga.
Are we fighting these niggas again?
I wholeheartedly agree.
That's funny.
Obviously, no, I'm not talking about the normalization of looting 12-year-old girls, or that I think all ugly bastard pedos should run the government. Listen, your boy's here to give you a comprehensive manga review, alright? Not to get cancelled on the internet for shit takes. In fact, I think the general message that this author is trying to convey through the U12 manga is actually more of the opposite. It's a cry for help to protect real-life young children, and also to really make people understand the distinction between what is lolicon
come
and
on.
what is pop. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Joey, how the fuck does that make any sense? How is it that a manga that is all about these ugly bastard pedos going around trying to loot 12-year-old girls somehow an anti-pedo message? Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to this character. Now, he may just look like your gross, stereotypical Japanese otaku, and well, that's because he is. But he's not like every other crazy-ass pedo in this manga. No, in fact, he's actually the good guy. Because although this otaku likes collecting little girl figurines and playing romantic visual novels, he's technically not considered a pedo because, as he puts it beautifully, he's only into the 2D, fam. The choir is preaching right now. Oh, Jesus. In all seriousness, though, this otaku character and his backstory in the manga actually puts into the limelight a very serious, controversial, and quite grey zone area that the manga and anime community has been struggling for years now. And that is the
What the fuck
definition
is
and
happening?
distinction between lolly anime
Wow, okay.
characters
That's never happened
and
before.
pedophilia. To understand what I'm trying to say here, let me ask you, the viewer, watching this video, looking at my face right now, a very simple question. Is liking lolly anime and manga characters...
The fact that he has that cheesy shit means he's
I'll let you
ass.
think about it a little bit, but I'm sure it goes without saying that this is a very complicated question, and yet seems very simple. And if you ask anybody who's
bitch going around,
outside
you
of
fucking
the anime
coward.
and manga echo chamber, then they will immediately probably say, yes, this anime girl is 12 years old, and if you find her cute, attractive, or have any kind of romantic feelings towards her as a person, then you are technically falling in love with and have
Wow.
those kinds of attraction to 12-year-olds, which means you must have an attraction to all 12-year-olds, which means that you're a pedophile. Or is it? Because if you ask anybody that says no to that question, then they will
Nah, it's
argue
all
that this
good. I
12-year-old
came
girl
mad late,
is
and they
really
was
a
jumping the
12-year-old
fuck out
girl,
of
but
me.
it is just
All
a
good.
drawing of a fictional 12-year-old girl. Nobody can do anything directly to this 12-year-old girl that will put them in harm's way in any kind of physical or emotional sense, because this 12-year-old girl you speak of never existed in the first place. And if the person who created this 12-year-old puts them into some kind of precarious, inappropriate, or dangerous position, then that's nothing but a thought crime, because it's all in the author's imagination. And despite the fact that your grandma might think that the cyber police is a real thing on the internet, unfortunately, you can't arrest anybody for a thought crime. Because all this is just a collection of pencil-drawn lines that just
Still
happen to
ranked
come
up, though.
together to look like a 12-year-old. But it is not a real 12-year-old. So hopefully you can see why this current debate is a really grey zone area, and a very difficult question to really get to the bottom of. And I just like to point point out that I am on neither side of this debate. I agree with points on both sides of the debate, and that's why I think it's a very interesting conversation that we need to have as not just an anime and manga community, but just as a society, because this is something that is not just stuck in the manga and anime loving echo chamber. No, this is a topic that has been in debate for years now, entire decades now, all across the world, in federal courts, in your backyard, just everywhere. This isn't just something that we talk about on the internet. This is a real issue that has had some really big events happen around it. I mentioned this very briefly earlier in this video, but recently an Australian senator tried to get a bunch of anime and manga banned in the country as it, quote, undoubtedly features the abuse of children. Among the aforementioned SAO series, other series that were brought up were Eromanga Sensei and No Game No Life. A little more understandable than SAO, but still. And while the intentions of the potential banning may have been good, the reasoning behind it is synonymous to farting in a storm and hoping that somebody smells it. Like, yeah, of course we want to protect the lives of real children that may be in possible danger. Of course, no one's opposing to that. And if someone is opposed to that, and they are opposed to that opinion,
oh my god, nigga got dual blades. He's like, nah, nigga.
But saying that No Game No Life, Eromanga Sensei, and Sword Art Online are direct causes of pedophilia because some characters in these shows are every now and then seem to be put in slightly inappropriate scenarios because they are minors is more of a painful stretch than Luffy's nutsack. Because if that statement were to be as true as the dumbass senators and the fucking normies think it out to be, then Japan would just be this bee's nest of pedophiles going around just ravaging every single 13-year-old that they can get their hands on like a fucking horrible Dead Rising shopping mall. Which, ironically enough, is the exact same scenario that is presented in the story of U12. Oh my god! Everything is coming together full circle. What an amazing segue, Joey. Thank you. Now listen, I'm obviously not throwing away the potential possibility of somebody reading materials like this, materials that have quite inappropriate scenarios towards minor characters, and possibly get influenced by these particular scenarios and then act them out in real life.
Yeah, I'm having a blast with y'all. We fucking these niggas up.
Hopefully behind jail bars who did get influenced by that. But if you think about it, that's on them, not on the things that they read. Because I'd just like to preface that even though there are plenty of material like that in Japanese media, anime, games, manga, movies, you name it, that have scenarios that show inappropriate and slightly
just start teabagging their body every time they die.
To this day has one of the lowest crime rates towards children, and that's not my opinion, that is just fucking facts. I feel that a massive issue that stems from this debate is the point of all otakus are pedos, and weirdly enough, that is a point that is actually brought up in the U12 manga as well. Just in case you forgot, this is a manga review video. The otaku character in the story is allegedly charged for owning anime and games that have a large number of young girls as main characters. A lot of magical girl stuff, shoujo stuff, you know, the usual shit.
I doubt that's Mario.
And yet in the story, the police arrest him for pedophilia and crimes against children because he fits that stereotype by association. Thus, he is sent to the underground where all the actual pedophiles reside in the story. But the children soon learn the key difference between an actual lolicon and an otaku that just likes cute little fictional anime girl characters, and learn to accept him and help him through a very important part of the story. As a fellow otaku, this is a scene that just made me really happy because it's very often that you will find manga portraying otakus in this sort of way, really putting in the distinction that no, not all otakus are pedos. And, you know, I relate to that in some way. Like when I have an entire shelf here on Shinobi, who very much looks like a young character, and people call me like a fucking pedo or whatever, I'm just like, oh, no, hold on a second. What's more gross, you as a mid to late 30-year-old going to a club trying to pick up 18-year-old girls, or me just liking a
Did I lag out? What the fuck?
because I think she looks cute? Pick up a book.
What happened?
So anyways, back to U12. Did I mention that this manga has
What the fuck happened?
amazing, yet simultaneously stupid ass endings
how do you
that
know?
I've ever seen in a manga? I assume the majority of you don't really care to be spoiled, so here we go. Basically, the old guy who runs the prison that the girls wake up in chapter 1, he's actually a scientist who is experimenting with a drug that turns all
I'm saving that clip and I'm gonna send it to them, be like, you a bitch, fuck your mother. This is so
and the
weird.
reason why he decided to distribute
I'm gonna rub that shit in their face.